Hi, everybody. It is Kathy, and I love to be selling. Come on in, sellers. I have a super tip for you that will get you customer traffic. Yay! That's what we're all after, right? It's like I get messages all the time. Kathy, how can I get more shoppers? How can I get more sales? Particularly when sales dip a little, it's like, oh, what can I do to get traffic? And I've got a tip for you that works whether you have an eBay store or whether you don't have an eBay store. And this tip, hi Sharon, good morning. It works regardless of what category you're in. So it can work for you in clothing, it can work for you in collectibles, it can work for you with children's items. I've tested it with a lot of different sellers. It works with a lot of different what's called verticals or categories. And it's super effective. So let's talk about it. As you know, when you're listing on eBay, of course, you want an optimized listing, right? So you want a listing with nice pictures, good length title, description. You're using item specifics. Hey, Tiffany. Hey, Ladoris. The other choice, and people forget about this, is you do have a choice whether you're going to list it as a fixed price, buy it now, or whether you're going to list it as an auction. And particularly, I'll see newer sellers do this, and they may not be aware of all the changes that have happened on eBay. So if you don't know, years ago when eBay first started, it was called Auction Web. It was not even called eBay. And the only format available to sellers to list their items was auction. You had no choice. Everything was auctions. In fact, because Sunday night used to be the hot auction night on eBay, and it still is a hot night. It's changed a lot with mobile shopping and different lifestyles going on now with so many people working from home. But a big thing used to be Sunday night as a seller was to watch each other's auctions and watch at times the bidding frenzy that would happen on items. It was tons of fun. Now, the majority of items on eBay, if you're not aware of this, are fixed price or buy it now, over 80%. And because of this, what happens is oftentimes people overlook auctions. And just hang tight in case you've done auctions. You're like, Kathy, I've done them and they don't work for me. You may not have tried them this way. So this is what I'm going to share with you. So just think about this for a minute. 80% of eBay listings are fixed price. That means the majority of items that people see on eBay are fixed price. So think about that for auctions. Immediately, it could be a way to stand out because when the majority is doing something, it can be good. You can be going, oh, I should do what the majority does. But it can also be a way to stand out. Good morning, Jill. How are you? So think about that. And this is what I wanted to say to you for auctions is I think it's good for a mixture. Okay, the only sellers that might consider doing the majority of their listings as auction would be collectible sellers. And the reason for a collectible seller doing a lot of auctions, the majority of their listings being auctions, is when things are truly unique and truly collectible. And you've done your research, so you have a pretty good idea of what the price should be for your item. Is because it's truly unique, is that you could get some kind of bidding war, which is always like, yay, when two people really want your item, or three or four. You could get a bidding war and it will drive the item price up when it's truly unique. And another category that really works with is the sporting card collectible category, is when things are really hot. It can be a great category to do auctions in because you'll get a higher price in an auction than necessarily you would at fixed price. Okay, so just consider that. So one is that you're in the sporting memorabilia, sporting cards, anything sort of sports collectibles right now is very hot on eBay. And then just the general collectible category, auctions can really be good. The prices can go higher than you think it would go, because your item's truly unique and you get a couple people bidding on it. Do your research, unless it's something that you absolutely know. And I always think of things like Apple, Apple products that are highly, sought after. Unless you absolutely know, or you have a really good sense that the price is going to go to a certain level, beware of starting things very low. And this is where a lot of people get themselves in trouble, and people come to me saying, oh, I tried auctions and they don't work, because they're using an auction strategy that might have been good 10 years ago or 12 years ago or even 5 years ago, which was a lot of people would do 99-cent auctions. They would start things at 99 cents and then things would bid up. But remember, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, there was a lot more auctions on eBay than there are now. So people were coming onto eBay looking to bid, looking for auctions. And so things would bid up. And what a lot of sellers find now is that you might get one bid, two bid, again, unless it's something very unusual, very highly collectible where the price will go up, is when you list, consider that you might only get one bid and list it with that in mind. The other thing with auctions is you don't want to do free shipping. I find with auctions, it's much more effective that your starting price, because it makes the starting price look lower. Whatever it is, that you're fine with one bid and be fine about that. And then charge them for shipping. And what I typically do is do the calculated shipping, because now with first class, we do pay by the zone, besides for priority. And like, for instance, I'm in New York City. So that way somebody in California or the state of Washington or Arizona would pay more shopping with me than somebody on the East Coast. Like somebody in Florida, somebody in the Carolinas, somebody in Maine is going to pay less with me than somebody on the West Coast. And then the Midwest will be less. Now, if you're in the Midwest, you might do flat rate shipping because of the fact that everybody is equidistant from you, and that could be a way to stand out. But I do find typically calculated shipping is the best way to go, because in my mind, it's more fair. If you're closer to me, it's going to be a little less money. And if you're further away from me, it's going to be more money. So definitely in collectibles, you want to take a look at auctions and the other categories too. And remember, with stores, you are limited. There's only certain categories that you do get free auctions with. Okay. So when you go to list an auction, if you see a price, and you're always going to see that right before you confirm your listing, what you're doing is you're listing an auction in the category where you do not have free auctions. And there is a page on eBay. It's the zero insertion fee listing page. And I'm going to share it with you because you can Google it and find it. And let me just find this for you. Hang on, I'll show it to you. And if you have a store, which would be a basic store or higher, let me just show you, make sure this is showing. Yes, okay, good. Is with basic store or higher, you get 250 auction style listings for free. Okay. And then premium, it's 500. Anchor, it's 1,000 on up. And hang on, that's the fixed price. Where's the list of auction? Here we are. Some things you should be aware of. If you have a basic, premium, anchor, and a price store, you can only use your zero insertion fee auction listings. Now, it doesn't mean you can't do an auction in other categories, just you will have a fee. In the following categories are free for whatever the limit is for your store level. So you'll get free listings in antiques, art, clothing, shoes, and accessories, coins and paper money, collectibles, dolls and bears, entertainment memorabilia, health and beauty, jewelry and watches, pottery and glass, sports memorabilia, cards and fan shop, stamps, toys, and hobbies. So for instance, like home and garden is not in that list, so that you would pay an insertion fee for. Okay. So take a look at it. It can be a way to move inventory, again, because you're going to be in the minority of listings. It can also be a way, particularly for collectible sellers, you can get a higher price than you might anticipate because you'll get a bidding thing going on. And the other thing, and this is a huge thing with auctions, it gets you traffic. You can list anywhere from 5-day on up for auctions without any additional fee. If it's shorter than a 5-day auction, there is an additional fee. And that's really because eBay doesn't want us spamming people with 1-day auctions. Okay. But a 5-day auction is pretty short. And the reason to do a 5-day auction, for instance, in clothing, is to get traffic, right? Especially when things get a little slow because you've got promoted listings, you're doing social media. But a great way to get traffic to your items is with auctions. So let's say I have a bunch of eBay t-shirts, or I have a bunch of dresses, or I have a bunch of tennis rackets, okay, or I have a bunch of shoes. And let's say I have 10 pairs of women's shoes, or I have 5 kids' puzzles. List, so back to the 10 pairs of women's shoes. Perhaps I list 6 or 7 pairs at fixed price. Then take the other 4 pairs and drop them into auction. Why am I dropping them into auction? Do I care if they sell? Yes, of course I want them to sell. But even more than them selling, those 4 pairs of shoes or 4 teddy bears or 4 puzzles in auction are getting me traffic. Why? Because this is particularly true for people with stores, but even without a store, okay, is you've listed 10 puzzles fixed price and 3 of them are going into auction. They will come in on the auction and then they will look at your other items typically. I know I do this. And particularly if you are running auctions to drive traffic to similar items you have listed at fixed price, in the description of the item, so back to the shoes, let's say I have a lot of size 8 or a lot of size 6 or 7. In the auction, say, look at my other wonderful size 8 shoes. What you want is you're using the auction to drive traffic to your other items. So they will land on those shoes. They will likely be seeing them in eBay search because eBay does have that toggle which you can search on filters, newly listed, which is great, especially with a 5-day auction. And then ending soonest, which again with a 5-day auction, it's going to show up pretty quickly, is they will see your pair of shoes, right? And then in the description, you'll say, be sure to check out my other shoes that I have. And they will go and look at your other shoes or your other puzzles or your other toys or your other women dresses. So then in effect, I'm using those auctions to drive traffic to my other items. Okay. I was just on the phone with a wholesaler that I ordered some wholesale items for, and we were working on an order. And then when we were completing it, he said, oh, by the way, I also have blah, blah. Can I send you a picture of it? I said, of course. And I looked at it. It's the same thing. Here you are. Oh, by the way, I have this. eBay does it. If you haven't shopped on eBay, shop on eBay. You know, after you buy the item, it goes, here's other items that are related to it. That's typically the promoted listings placements. Okay. So eBay is doing the same thing. All the shopping sites do it. They're driving traffic to other items that might be other sellers. Why not use auctions to drive traffic to your items? And that's what you're doing. If you're coming back from a time away, it can be really effective because things could be a little slow because you had a 5-day handling time or a 10-day handling time because you were doing time away. To then drop some auctions in to be ending right after the time away comes off. So let's say it's coming off on July 5th or 6th. I have my auctions ending on the 7th and the 8th. It's helping to bring traffic to my listings. And be sure in the description to refer, hey, you know, you check out, you know, you like this pair of sneakers, be sure to look at my other sneakers, look at my other dresses, like one line. Don't be writing a novel, but one line. Because again, yay if the auction sells, but even more, the auction is helping you to drive traffic to your other listings, whether you have a store or you do not have a store. Okay, it's a great way, say that one quickly, to drive traffic to your other listings. So again, if things get a little slow, look at your fixed price. What categories do you have? Perhaps 10, 15 items, even if it's a general category, like you have 10 toys or 10 DVDs or 10 men's shirts. Drop a couple of them into auction and use them to drive traffic to your other items. I've got some great free trips. Yeah, free trips. Wouldn't that be nice? I've got some great free tips for you on my website, ilovetobeselling.com. It's all about eBay listings that sell. So it's giving you tips for what to do with your listings. So again, your auction listing, your fixed price listing, that once they land on them, they're going to want to buy them. They're going to want to bid on them. So hop over to my website, ilovetobeselling.com, and grab yourself eBay listings that sell. But try some auctions. Again, with or without a store, you have a certain amount of zero insertion fee on your auctions, and be sure to check the categories because you want to be listing in categories where you're getting the free listings. Try it. Try like anything else. Again, people might say, oh, I tried that a year ago. It didn't work. Try it. It is frustrating because with eBay, the way it is set up now, and we never know what's going to happen in the future, I don't know if that auction drive traffic to my fixed price. But let me tell you, it's so interesting anecdotally, because again, let's say you have 20 dresses, you drop to an auction. While those two are in auction, all of a sudden 3 of your fixed price dresses sell. Now you tell me, it could be coincidence. It could be just all of a sudden they were shoppers that were shopping for that kind of dress, those colors, that style. And it could be because I'm running auctions, which are driving traffic to that category. So do it. For many of us, the auctions are free. So do take a look at it. It's a very easy way because all you have to do is end the fixed price listing, sell similar, put it into auction, make sure you're not, you haven't clicked anything to get yourself charged a fee, and list it. Again, 5 days or more. Bonus tip, when you list on a Thursday and you do it for 14 days, it's going to run through 2 weekends, which is great because now 14-day auctions are not, let me make sure I'm saying the right thing on this. 14-day auctions are not giving you, it's a 10-day auction because it's going to run through the 1 weekend and then run through the next week. So you're going to get that nice 1 weekend sale. So take a look at times doing a longer auction than the 5-day. I happen to love 5-day auctions. I just do them endlessly. But take a look at your 7-day auctions, the day it's ending on. Take a look at your 10-day auctions because they can be super, super helpful. And go over to my website. I love to be selling, and grab yourself eBay listings that sell. Okay, great. Bye-bye, everybody.